Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to the Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary's open mic. I'm so excited for the lineup tonight. We have a lot of new faces. So just to share a little bit, Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary is a community that I've started to help promote and support poets from all over the world. I do 2 open mics a month, one on the second Sunday of the month and one on the fourth Sunday of the month. So tell your friends. We also have a YouTube channel. It's under the same name, Minneapolis Poetry Sanctuary. And yeah, let's just get started. So LaVan Robinson, do you want to lead us off, please, and tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Okay, Larry Richardson is my real name, Larry LaVan Richardson, but I use LaVan Robinson in in respect for the parents that can't be here during my poetry career. So this is in remembrance of them. And I'm a poet and writer from Philadelphia, but now resides in Lancaster, PA, and 13-year military veteran, and have a 35-year-old son. And that's basically my bio. I'm the oldest out of 11 brothers and sisters, so that's important too. But I have a few poems, so that 3 books on Amazon under LaVan Robinson. And the first poem I have is from the Song of La, my first book, called In Search Of. In search of love, I'll go out on a limb. In search of friendship, I'll search until time ends. Where there is love, that's where I'll be, wrapped within its mystic clouds of happiness, so protectively. True love and friendship derive from deep within oneself, so once found, gladly share them with someone else. For all things are given freely from the Heavenly Father above. Remember this as you go along your journeys, for whatever you are in search of. In search of. The second one I have is called Wake Up. Wake up. Tensions among the races is at an all-time high. And even with a new leader in office, no time soon will it start to subside. The citizens need to put down the guns and pick up a book, because of the end result of the behavior, they would definitely be horrified and shook. People are relying upon the leaders to give them a viable solution. That's not happening because their agenda is to fill your mind and soul with propaganda and pollution. Those that stood up for righteousness, they have put 6 feet under, and the citizens are so traumatized by these actions that they often wonder why their voices are quickly quieted and never heard, unaware of the subliminal forces with the iron fists that rules this world that are corrupt. In order for it to change, we as a people, in order for it to change, we as a people must wake up. Third one is called Harvest of Love. For so long, my heart was void, only room for darkness and gloom. Now that I met you, baby, and you replaced it with the seeds of love that immediately started to bloom. At first, it was hard to accept the fact that someone like you could love me coming from different backgrounds. It was definitely hard to see. But as times progressed and the hardest in me started to disappear, falling in love with you was something I greatly fear. For you have now touched my heart in so many ways. And because of your harvest of love, I can see me loving you the rest of my days. Yep. And the last word is going to be deep, called New World Order. There was those that saw the plot and swore that they did not, lying dormant in places both high and low, just waiting for the exact moment from the executive producer to give the thumbs up for the finale show, where chaos destruction will be the main course, and pain, misery, and the beginning of the New World Order upon man will be strictly force and peace. The last one, I got one more called Rush of Love. Rush of Love. Just when I was about to give up on love, it came into my life, striking like a snake, but as gentle as a dove. It opened up in me passions that I never felt before, leaving me totally confused, but yet yearning for more and more. Why did love for me take so long? This I guess I'll never know, but now that it's finally here, I'll never let it go. Forever I'll cherish it, hoping of it to never ever give it up, always savoring the sweetness from this sudden rush of love. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much, LaVan. There were a couple lines, well, a lot of lines, but a couple that stuck out to me. The "Where there is love, I am," that was beautiful. And we as a people must wake up. I definitely felt that. And thank you for your service, by the way. Thank you. All right, so up next we have Poetic Endurance. Are you ready, Ty?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Poetic Endurance. I go by Poetic Endurance, but my name on my Facebook is Ty Thompson. I actually wrote my first poetry book when I was in a shelter, in a women's shelter, and published it. But since then, I've written about 3 or 4 books, and I'll be reading a poem from each book. Starting with the first one that I published. My last book that I have right now the last book that I'll be reading from will be used to fundraise money to help rebuild Black Wall Street throughout the Midwest. So yes, this also includes Minnesota. Yeah, people in Indiana looking out for you guys as well. So the first book I'm going to read from is titled Uncensored, and I'm going to go ahead and put all these links in the Facebook thing right here for you. So Uncensored, I'm going to read Crazy Enough to Change. In this mind, I contain, refrain a new hope of change. As society determines to ruin remains of faith, I pray that others have the same. One prayer, 2 short, 3 strikes away from losing grip on what separates. The truth from lies that complicates. The heart and mind deteriorates. The meaning of love, forming hate. Forming a passion to be above, stepping on anything, even one's trust. Something has gotten in the way of what's real. Nothing can stop it, for greed it kills. Kills me to say that I'd rather crawl to pick up my new hope of change when it falls. Falls into ashes, ashes into dust, dust from greed, and God we trust, trusting no one can tell the difference between poverty and hell. Now time is taken for granted, smiles become more slanted. Maybe in this mind, my belief is the only thing changing. And that is from Uncensored. Let's see here. Rated L. It's titled Dating History. Let's see here. I don't know what you have been through. I'm just here to be your cure. I want you to see me for who I am. I wasn't created to be compared. We have had exes before we met. They were meant for us to learn, not only to recognize the gains, but to have growth from this hurt. But if I'm still fighting their battles to end this war, then we've already lost before we begun. I feel like I'm the only one standing on this battlefield, trying to love you while I continue to fight them, attempting to endure a love that holds me in contempt. Removing your chains is causing me to wear them. May I love you? And I ask because obviously I have no permission. As I become your friend, you reveal this beautiful vision, yet your past affects my future and your decisions, based upon none of my actions creating limits. When you don't know what I've been through, it has taught me a lot about hurt. Despite what I've seen, I can't believe that you were her. You see, before we met, prior to us to hashtagging and joking, I met this young woman who was beyond broken. I became a repairman trying to fix what I couldn't understand, with inadequate tools and missing pieces of the floor plan. I gave her a roof to shelter her from the last man, inspired her to be a wife, clueless that she slept with another's husband. We, her and I, were supposed to be what couldn't die, but it never lived to see that day that she and I saw eye to eye, and I was left blind. So with you, all I can do is listen to your heartbeat skipping beats because your mind is reminiscing on the history of your story like an overworked piston, making our story a cover letter to what you have been missing. But this is different, right? And that's from Rated L. And my last one is from Liberty, Rest, and Unity. This book was created to get us back inspired. So this poem is titled March, and it's kind of about how hard it is trying to fight every battle from every angle. So here's March. As a Black person, March. As a woman, March. As a lesbian, March. I'm tired of trying to prove to society that I'm a human being. Being the person that I am, this marching thing isn't for me. I'm fighting a war of three, a triple threat minority. And the messed up part is that none of the three groups agree. In a man's world, I'm supposed to submit. Some Blacks don't like homos, some white gays don't like my skin. Basically, my existence is a conflict. Somehow I've been graced to manage this fight within. I've met Black men who won't march for themselves the way that I do. I've met white women who won't protest against the killings of my hue. Yet I march, waiting for an acceptable group to see me beyond the parts in which we all can agree to. Thank you so much again. And that's Liberty, Rest, and Unity. And all the links are below, posted in the live.
Thank you so much, Poetic Endurance. Wow. There were so many lines that was like boom, boom, boom. It was hard to like write down every single one. That was amazing. Yeah, trying to prove to society that I'm human. Whoa. That one hit me. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we will definitely make sure that your pages and your book links and everything are visible on the page and in the comments. Okay, up next we have Liz Minette. Please tell us about you, and then we look forward to hearing your poems.
Okay, sure. Can you all hear me? Can you all? Okay, cool. I live near Duluth, Minnesota, and Lake Superior. And let's see, I've been writing for a while, and mostly poetry. And I grew a lot of spaghetti squash in my garden this year that we're still eating. So it's all good. So I have 3 poems tonight. This first one is called Today the Trees. Today the trees in the plaza, greased silhouettes against this gray chalked sky that is open, no scrapers to hold people over people. These trees are the only thing today. The trees, wet, shaggy, their branches wild hair, cradling the tuck of squirrels, ravens holding court. They're sailing coast to coast of treetops, calling the day. Okay. This one is called Halloween Memento Mori. How I grab a mini package of M&Ms from the 100-piece variety mix I bought at Walgreens for $12.99 for trick-or-treaters we probably won't get. How we always get scooped every year by the Lutheran church across the highway that hosts Trunk and Treat. How M&Ms make me remember how my sister and I, when we were kids, would yell from the summer yard, "Are you going to the beer store, Dad?" How years later my mother said that embarrassed our father to no end. How we always wanted to go along because Dad, in addition to the beer, would buy us a package of M&Ms at the register. How the woman who owned the liquor store, Mrs. Polo, whose one of 9 children was indeed named Marco, would let us visit with and pet her ancient black lab that slept behind the counter. How one time my sister and I wanted to bring the tadpoles we just caught from the creek behind our house to the beer store and how Dad let us. How we had them in a red bucket and placed the bucket carefully on the rubber mat of our parents' '69 Dodge Dart. How the bucket spilled anyway on the way to or from the beer store, tadpoles and water all over the place. How my sister and I tried to revive them when we got back home, cupping their chubby bodies in our hands, depositing them in fresh water, red bucket. How they didn't survive, floating like lopsided balloons. How I remember Dad cleaned up the car and I don't remember him being upset. How today I tell my mom, as she sees me taking another mini package of M&Ms from the variety bag, how I tell her there will be enough left over. How we both laugh at that. And then, last one. This poem is called At Solstice. And it was written for a time when I was farm nannying for some friends north of Duluth. So, and farm nannying is just that. You kind of house sit or watch out for watch after a farm. So, okay. At Solstice. A full moon flags the December barn. There is only this light on the way to evening chores. 2 horses softly walk to the fence, stand, shoulders rounded smooth as planets. Both are curious for anything my hands hold. A touch, apple slices, the heat of oats. Zoe, the farm dog, has come along with me. She wouldn't have it any other way. Inside the barn, 2 cats, Buddhas on a ledge, intently watch Zoe's barrel-shaped body scuttle after one scent to another. Hens thump to their roost under the heat lamp and their movements sound like boxes falling. I exchange new straw for their coop's small harvest, 3 eggs tonight. Cracking 2 over the cat's feed, I place the 3rd in my coat, and then Zoe and I walk the long driveway. The moon follows, casts shadow among birch and in front of us as dog and human try to catch up to themselves. Back to the house's soft watch, Zoe's last 2 puppies, Jasmine, Kibu, spring from the kennel when I open it. They greet us jumping, crushing the egg I've forgotten. Small return of sun in my pocket. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. I wish I could farm nanny. That sounds absolutely wonderful. And I love the description of the horses. I love horses on a very, very deep level. They're just magical beings. And yeah, if you have any books out or a website or anything, please make sure to comment it on the video on our page. Okay, let me see who is next. Let's see here. All right, George Colburn, are you here? Awesome, all right.
Yeah, hello. Well, let me introduce myself first. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. Lived here most of my life. I started writing poetry in 3rd grade when I would sell love poems to lovesick little boys to give to lovesick little girls for a nickel a piece. And it kept me in lunch money. So it was pretty good. I've got 4 books out. They're all available on Amazon if you're interested. I'll be reading from them tonight. Also, along with Rick Hilber and Greg Rude, I run a monthly poetry open mic, and now on Zoom, called Bird's Nest Poetry Open Mic Series. And I usually put out an announcement a week ahead. It's always on the last Sunday of the month. And on December 27th, we'll be featuring Christopher Hart, a guest artist from England. So I think that'll be pretty exciting. The first poem I want to read is from my latest book. It's called An Undeclared War, Poetry Born in Vietnam. And it's called The Briefing. He gathered us onto the flight line in the middle of a sunny afternoon where we had a clear view of the hills all around the base. Several shades of bright and darker green going all the way up to the brown and chewed tops that had been laid waste by helicopter clearing pad bombs. Not designed to be anti-personnel, but used like that nonetheless. In the plateau, in the middle ground, red dirt and scrub-dappled vegetation, he began. I know it seems quiet now, peaceful even, but that can change fast. Any minute those hills could burst forth, mortars and rockets, and the perimeter might ping with sparkling gunfire. You are not safe. You will not be safe until you leave this country. Meantime, remember that an attack on this base happens about every 6 days or so. We've lost men in their beds at night. We've lost them in the mess hall, even in the NCO club, dancing and drinking. You will likely hear a whistle first. As soon as you do, hit the dirt. Get out of buildings. Avoid trees. Find a trench you can lay in. You are not safe. If you want to live, then I only need to tell you this once. Duck and cover. Hide yourself quickly. There is no one here to save you but you. You are not safe. Dismissed. The next couple of poems is from my third book. It's called Milking the Dragon. The first one I want to read is from a book that my wife and I bought called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. Death cleaning. It's designed to prevent your poor offspring from having to deal with you when you're dead. It doesn't consider all those small little somethings left over when you're stiff in your bed. Your belly laughs, for example, and your snickers. What could they possibly do with those? Your fingers, those wrinkled old pickers, stray hairs on the inside of your nose. Wishes that have lived with you for years. The unphotogenic side of your face. The tiny bumps on the edge of your elderly ears, the hairs that were never in place, the indigestion that you've dealt with since Eisenhower, your big toes. Who would want your big toes? The tingling of your skin when you shower, the part of you that nobody knows. This next one is called The Peripheral Damage is Us. They killed her first time outside of Harrods. She was just arriving for high tea. It was a Christmas gift all the way from Belfast, designed to awaken you and me. Her brother lost most of both of his legs and his eyesight and all charity. Next time she was murdered in Paris, it was decided from several sets of clues to blame Basque separatists for the killing, and they played it that way in the news. Her father taught philosophy at the Sorbonne, but now he wanders the city without shoes. Then she was slain in the Madrid railway station. This time Al-Qaeda was blamed. Everyone knew she had died that day too, and Spain was never the same. Protesters marched through the city for days, but no one mentioned her name. She was slaughtered after that in Brussels and completely wiped out in Berlin. They dug her 50 graves near Moscow. They bombed her in Boston again. How long must we stare death in her eyes before we forgive our own sins? This next one's called Let's Get Serious. The scene opens with Christopher Robin in the woods with an AR-15 on his lap, relaxing on a poo-skinned rug. Piglet on a spit above the fire, owl feathers everywhere, Eeyore tied to a tree and weighted down with bandoliers, LaPierre for president in ornate lettering along the rifle stock. Banners hang from the trees. Give guns to all nuns. Preschoolers deserve assault weapons. Just say, shoot 'em. We hear a twig snap. Chris jumps up, rifle at the ready. It's you. This next one's from my book called A Punctuated Echo. And it's called Most People. Most people are the gray halftones, the watermarks of life alone. Fine outlines, most totally unknown, crafted details only shown if you take the time, create the time to hold them up to light. It isn't right, but no one does. They just go on and change as little as required to get by. And most of life is the drudge of getting by unnoticed, the just getting through it. Somehow, some way to go on another night, another day, even most of the pleasures we tout as wonders and joys are quiet things without the noise of exuberance, just the noticing that something did not go wrong is enough to let us sleep contentedly in our own dreams, snores, and metaphors. The last one I want to read has a little bit of a sexual tint, so it's a trigger warning for you. If you'd rather not listen, then please shut off the audio. It's called Suicide Sex. The sun burnt bright through our kitchen window. I stood there staring at the rays pushing across your face, your shoulders, breasts, hips. She saw me watching and smiled a Cheshire cat smile, began to unbutton her blouse, threw off her bra, slipped her shoes off, then slid down her jeans and panties, sidled over to me and grabbed my belt. "Penny for your thoughts," she whispered, kissing me hard and purring. "This could very likely kill me," I said, "but I'm willing to accept those consequences." Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, George. You have such a talent for such a variety of poems and styles, so that was really awesome. And I appreciate so much you mentioning that open mic. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that out. So thank you again so much, George, for being here. What was the name of that first poem? Actually, I was gonna write it down. The one about from the book on war. I think it was from that one.
Yeah.
You can put it in the chat if you want. I just wanted to make sure I knew what the title of that was. That was a really powerful one.
The Briefing.
The Briefing. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let me see here. Sarah, it looks like I have you going 5th. Are you here?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Sarah Dagner Riveros, and I live in the Twin Cities. And I'm going to share, the first poem I'm going to share is bilingual, Spanish and English. So I will read it alternating verses. Oda al té. Ode to tea. Tacita de té, soplo de aire sabroso, hueles a canela y a durazno. Cup of tea, breath of delicious air. You smell like peaches and cinnamon. Eres el amor puro del corazón de la casa, silbando tu melodía de tetera. Tómame. Se detiene el reloj en tu presencia. Los contratiempos se destejen. You're the pure love of the home's heart. Whistling your call, drink me in. The clock stops in your presence. Misfortunes are unwoven. Al escuchar el silencio de la madrugada, se derrite el estrés mientras te preparo. Listening to dawn's silence, stress melts as I prepare you. Me llamas cuando estás lista y voy a verte. No puedo beberte sin primero apreciarte. You call to me when it's time for me to come to you. I can't consume you without expressing gratitude. Adoro tu esencia de velas e incienso.
Mama,
Te abrazo con mis manos.
can John have his TV back?
No TV back. I'm reading. Adoro tu esencia de velas e incienso. Te abrazo con mis manos. I adore your essence of candles and incense. I embrace you with my hands. En una mañana de invierno me despiertas con jazmín y con bergamota me enredas en tu vapor. Me acompaña tu calor vivo en estado líquido como la encarnación de la esperanza. On a cold winter morning, you awaken me with jasmine. With bergamot, you enfold me in your steam. Your liquid living warmth accompanies me like the incarnation of hope. Behind this curtain is a very busy house, and I apologize for the background noise. I will continue reading some more holiday or winter poems, and this is one that was recently published just this month in Yes Poetry. It's called Christmas in Mickey's Diner. Not much is open in downtown St. Paul. Even the AA intergroup meeting hall is dark. The sun won't even try to burn this urban ice fog. Addiction's a long, lonely abandonment. The wait is warm in Mickey's downtown diner, open 24/7, 365. An hour and a half for a stool at the bar. Hash browns, oatmeal with brown sugar and cinnamon, coffee served hot, all holy day. The bathroom takes a key. This is downtown. The toilet is full of blood when I stand, stuff paper in panties, button jeans tight, and wish myself merry. Winter makes me think of hash browns, and I published a poem this past week also in Barnstorm, which also features hash browns. This is called Violent Epidemic, and it does refer to child neglect for a content warning. Violent Epidemic. When the neighbor kid shows up on the porch, clutching a flannel pillow, dressed in sweatpants and a t-shirt, shakes his dreads, stutters, "Hi, Mom, is John here?" You set down the phone, say, "Come in, son." He's staying. You make chamomile tea, no sugar, as he squats on the stairs beside the sink. "My sister's got in a fight," he says. During lockdown? You wonder? Stop. Shh. Your instincts say, "You're fine here." John is out on a bike ride. "The cops came," he says. "Mom's at the casino." You heat a griddle, fry up some hash browns in butter, eggs over easy, like nothing else in life really is. And I will close with Holiday Dazzlers. This was published in Willowa, and it's a memory of a childhood Christmas. Holiday Dazzlers. Since we grew up and left home, Christmas has never been the same. There's that photo in the photo album of the suburban preteen Texas years. 4 homeschooled kids dressed as Joseph and Mary. I'm holding a doll. A shepherd swings a staff at my head. I look demure. He misses the shot. My baby sister is white as an angel, hair electrified by her own powerful presence. Blonde rat's naptime nest, her only helmet against terror, her eyes full of otherworldly fire. Mom rented a sheep and a cow, took pictures of every kid in the Sunday school dressed as a manger scene. Holly's mom nearly stabbed me with bobby pins that day to keep a veil over my hair. Mom, who never slept past 4 a.m. in those days, recorded our voices, singing carols in harmony. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Thank you.
Do you have another poem to read, Sarah? Or, sorry, I think you're on mute.
I don't. I'm telling my children that if they need my attention, they can't do that while I'm sharing poetry with the community, but I'm back to being mom.
No worries.
So that's all I had gotten ready for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad that you were here. And that last line in particular, eggs over easy like nothing really is. You have a gift of ending a poem on like a strong note, and I'm just really happy to have you here. And the bilingual poem is wonderful. So
thank you for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for organizing and for hosting.
Absolutely. Okay, up next we have Catherine Reid. Hello.
Hi. Well, thanks to Sarah, I'm here tonight. I appreciated seeing her recent poems that she's been posting, a couple of which I had read, and so anyway, I appreciate that. I live in St. Paul. I met Sarah because I do some storytelling work for Augsburg University, and I have a company called Story Slices. And I started writing poetry. I studied poetry at Beloit College, which had a very fine poetry journal, and only recently kind of reconnected to my poetry. And I was lucky to start the year with a piece of mine being published on the website Highly Sensitive Refuge. And I have 3 poems tonight. The first one is, I was in a Miami Book Fair convening with Roy Guzman, and this is a prompt that he gave us. The title is The Prompt. We found a vaccine, but we were not prepared for what the vaccine would unleash. We found a COVID vaccine, and the vaccine we found unleashed a new feeling of love, a love we'd never understood. Administered by a shot to the heart, we required all billionaires take it first. To be inoculated with this vaccine opened up a response of deep generosity, transformational generosity. Midas refracted and reshaped into abundant coinage, an automatic reparations response. Reparations for the harms done through conquest, genocide, colonization, war, land grabs, slavery, greed. As the billionaires began to give without hesitation, banks and Bitcoin devolved, no longer allowed to skim fees. Instead, they became quaking aspens, Pando's expansive root system, all interconnected and wide, spread with a purpose to seed fair redistribution, compensation for all wrongs, new roots feeding a massive organic system, giving life and beauty where before there was extraction, destruction. A rebalancing that means more than recovery, a redistribution for truly profound healing. To give yourself a vaccine is to give love to a whole community. It means we do our part to protect and care for others. This next poem I wrote in a little workshop with Margaret Hasse. I've been taking a workshop through the Eastside Arts Council that's been a true joy. And this particular workshop, we were writing poems in response to artwork. And this one is after a painting I bought from a local Minneapolis artist named Brendan Farley, a little collage. It's called Crow's Stand. Aged newsprint speaks to me of childhood, stacked and piled, filling up my parents' home, smelling of damp ink and depression, clippings torn and littered for distribution to spread notables. My bird-brained mother would be filed, according to Gallup's StrengthsFinder, under input, a computing word, meaning she excels at plucking information out of places. She might have been a librarian, though her distraction puts her at war with the act of sorting. Her research languishes. She cannot retrieve her selections from the chaos. Sentry Crow stands on what's been cut down with an invitation to scan my life story and accept hers. Prepared to be felled and processed into more paper, all for the sake of the human need to know. This last poem I wrote this summer. I have the privilege of my family, my husband's family has a cabin on a beautiful lake. And in May, my father-in-law died from COVID. This one is called Lake Cabacona Tribute. At dawn on a lake whose name means end of the trail, Gabagona, its native spelling, I've walked barefoot here, soles dew wet and sticky with pine pitch. I've sung with the eagles who, like me, love the tallest white pine, their landing spot. I've slid through its soft water, communed with the cedars, chattered with red squirrels, so small and full of mischief, talked back to blue jays, loons, woodpeckers, whispered to red-breasted nuthatches, hummingbirds, dragonflies, and the little yellow songbird whose name I don't know. I've foraged and documented mushrooms here. Dry conditions quenched by too much rain trigger a rare blooming, Indian pipe, white stalks touched with ethereal pink, and heads like seahorses in clusters along the borders. Gaudy orange lobster mushrooms, meaty and luscious as their namesakes, emerge on the small rise, some tiny red ones and buttery ones and chanterelles. When I meet the end of my trail, this will be where you'll plant me. No embalming, no box, no headstone, just a pod and a seed and my composting body to decay with popple leaves and pine needles and feed what comes next. Thank you.
Do you have another poem, or is that all you're going to read for tonight? Thank you so much for being here, Catherine. That last poem really spoke to me, just being up in nature and just the sacredness of that. I think it's also maybe a Minnesotan thing. We love our lakes and we love our nature, and I love that about us. Okay, so Lukas, are you available now? Let's see here. Lukas, do you hear me?
Yes.
Are you ready to read some poems?
Yeah, I have this book I wrote, so I guess I should read it. So.
Yeah.
You hear me? Okay. Cool. My name is Lukas. I live north of the cities near Duluth. I've published like 7 books and some stuff in journals, and I'm hosting an event with my partner Esther Marcella called Monolith Monologues. So you can, I was gonna write all the links and such, but my internet like really sucks today. And I have a Patreon called Pilot of Oumuamua. Oumuamua is this incredible intergalactic thing that's like very inspiring, and I'm not interested in like space much, but you should check it out and stuff. So I wrote this book called Since We Left the Oregon Trail a couple years ago, and a lot of it has to do with like people my age, like the 30s, millennial, xennial generations. So it's like a reference to the awesome Oregon Trail that people talk about, like they were actually there. It's kind of interesting. So I'm just gonna read some poems about Lake Superior because it's like the best lake in the entire world. So this is called Lake Superior Harbors All My Sadness. Stone scrub against grain washboard. Rush, hush. Superior ocean makes it the shore. Hundreds of years evolved to make it all work. Slip one of my shy toenails into material water and sink baptismal as strong pitch tuning fork. Superior, my grand idea, my Jordan River, taker of dream space. Echoes same lungs, central air, Lake Superior wide, wild, ocean wise. It is my afterbirth, my autoclave, and captain towards. I be plane crew from wide and unconquered girth. Imagination is cargo berth. Organize on Superior's oscillation near coast. Part of ride to run brisk into horses' waves. To abolish all adverbs of mine. It is matter of atonement. shown as mirrors windows. Matches white blue glades as t-shirt under egg sun, yellow yolk, and runny. Superior subtle hand massaging ankles, in ear what thoughts I should think. Superior bellows with my DNA. Superior's coasts flat not line my emotions. Gandhi cannot scrape enough salt for my pillow tears. Sodium taken by plants, suckled by Lake Superior. Okay. Winter is like my favorite season. So I'm like in the right place to like write millions of poems on it. I had another one, but sometimes they're real good. Okay. Superior is where winter is born. Superior is where winter is born. If wind is one cloud holding hilt katana, then it's never sheath the hills. The forest cannot abide to bend the blade back, honed by the Titan sea, this wind sword. It is cutting your brain off. After scratches by breeze, turn into davits, turn into skin, clouds dispatching, spreading thoughts. The police whistle through snow globes, death sugar. In the east, coast Duluth houses. I puff cigar into their car windows and spit on their road, riding the quiet katana, bringing winter in front of me. I just read that. All right. Been visiting a lot of abandoned towns and mines and roads most of my life. And there's this awesome abandoned mine north of here called Milford Mine, which is the largest mine accident in Minnesota, killed like 441 people. So this is the Milford Mine. 41 great humans down there in that hole. Only oxygen could have saved them, but there was none. The siren calls the names of the bottom out. Brown miners, too late to reach the dry, daisy sun. There are needy weeds, lily pads, and picnic tables. March over the railway grade along last hollow gasps of miners in full panic mode, fail to climb to surface of our earth sky. We are here to cry at the serenity, this new Milford moan which crows, caw, caw, in Crow's Wing County that has wrought so wrong. Along with miners' anorestic breaths is the cool iron ore for gathering up for folks on top. Our hosts are now deer flies and the ghosts of the Milford Miners' March. I see them though, every university, the makers of the last shovel and pick attack, under my shoelaces. Their whereabouts still in cemetery amber, their last shift change from iron ore black aquifer. Thank you.
I loved the mic drop there at the end, the book drop. Lukas, it's always a pleasure to have you here. You've been a fan for a long time, and that means a lot to me. And I love your ocean superior, the power of superior. I feel the same. Okay, Marco, are you here?
Hello?
Perfect, you're on.
Yeah, cool, thanks. My name's Marco. I'm 25 years old. I'm from North Carolina, and I just write poetry. I haven't had anything published or anything. I don't know. I enjoy writing for myself. So, but lately, I guess I've been sharing a little bit more. I also paint and do different kinds of artwork. If you guys want to check out my Instagram, it's Marco, Art and Poetry. And yeah, I guess I'll get started. So recently I've been kind of reworking some of the stuff that I've had written because I discovered a new Japanese poet and I really dig his style. It's a surrealist style. So the first one's called Love Poem. And it goes like this. Charming smile, camellia's reflection, pupils possessed laughter, bells of shattered skies, fireworks through the hole of a tablespoon. The napkin is an angel. Climate of wood in the doorbell, perfume of razor blades. One finger that is a thorn bleeds black ink on a papyrus note. A sock perfectly warm, melting chocolate at the window's field. Heart's darkness bursts, love's foliage bursts, garden of seas and calendar's infinite book bursts. Roots reach across fingernails, curled toes like magnifying glasses, eyes swirl. We are found, fond of the cricket's whistle, the sea exploding, the salt exploding, the spray exploding, the sand we turned to glass in the froth of the tides, algae's green embrace, a turtle egg-kissed by the moon, softly falling, falling softly, softly falling, whirligig shower summer's scalp, sweet lullabies, beloved resting on eyelids. My breast, a swine breaking, shrieking apart over the bridge, a beating walnut erupting, all the stars in the sky, all the fish in the sea erupting from the womb of arms, grapevine wilderness legs, starfish and leaves in restless dance. Our own bodies decay into meadows asleep, tongue, lips of sweet dreams. Good night. The next one is called Poem of a Little Drop of Blood. A little drop of blood makes the rain a drum, sings a toenail in the footprint of snow, summons crows of white-leaded hurricanes to a fingerprint of cries. Endless luck, bless the roof of my father's coat, old, moth-eaten soul, threadbare anchors of insanity in the deep waters of a plague. A little drop of blood squirts the screams of departure's mistress, forgotten caresses hopelessly whispering across distant time zones. Farewell, my storm, covered in blood. The next one is called Solitude. Sunshine casts a glance at the world's walls, hidden castle, broken plates in peerless windows. Mysteries, turtles spun in silence's silk, kaleidoscopic ceilings melt into dark waters of obsidian. Towers rising above seconds, nearing the abyss's crocodile, a forest of flutes jangling. My spirit yawns, yearns, erupts into 1,000 armies and dissipates in the air, calling to the other world, knocking over wine glasses. Walk over walk, feet of broken glass, roads of nails, tongues of corkscrews, to feel, to touch again, a home, a nest, a pair of arms folded for madness roosting. I got just one more poem and it's a little shorter. And that's all I got for today. But it's just called November Doldrums. November outside is waiting, shivering doldrums. My hair, I say, I will shed some leaves and be the perfect swollen tree, minute after minute, pregnant daydream. She flowed into a bottle of wine, the soft couch of Spanish words, somos pajaritos, we are little birds, arms of charms, knees of bees, legs of eggs, intertwined in the lightning bird of magic, the theater of despair, wonderful and tragic. She is the madness to keep one sane, standing on the edge of autumn, looking into the volcanic eruption, weary heads of ash and petals, my heart trembling, myth under the streetlight, a candle's prison in November. Civilization returns, misery is more confused. She is in wine now, in the trees, drunk December. So that's it. Thanks everybody.
Thank you so much, Marco. That was wonderful. It felt like every line was like its own world. Like there was so much in every single line. So fun to see all the different styles of poetry. That's why I love doing this so much. Well, thank you, Marco. I think I will read just a few quick poems. It's 7:30, so I'll just read a few if that's okay. Okay, let's see here. I'll just do a couple short ones. Okay. This one's called Late Bloom. I wonder if a flower comes to bloom to die knowingly. I wish I felt consumed by life's one promise. There are no promises. I cling, I shudder, then I move on. I'm just like anyone else. I try so hard for nothing. I'm running with every part of me, but not moving. I'm running to die. All right. This one's called I Wonder. I wonder what it feels like to think clearly, how to not relate to this time of year, or how every day is also this time of year. I wonder how easy it is to shower daily in the morning, to have a routine without it being a routine. I wonder how it feels to be sane again after your period, a time when you can map, predict, and excuse. I wonder how much you smile or don't, cry, how much you mean things when you haven't felt the depth of things. How much forgiveness can save a life, how laughter rejuvenates a soul, how acceptance frees a weary, beaten heart. I guess I maybe should have trigger warned that one for depression. I apologize for that. Okay, so, here's one, and this one is about a little bit about mental illness and depression, so trigger warning. Maybe life is good. I'm taking pills because they work, eating because I'm hungry, singing because I'm happy, witnessing firsthand contentment is real, befriending mysteries, holding hands with feelings, laughing when the hurt isn't smothering, crying because I'm grateful. I'm practicing boundaries and my own advice, believing what I say to console my friends, becoming who I say I am. Joy exists. Survival pays off. A moment of strength becomes a week, a month, even maybe a year. I have options. I can make mistakes. Faith doesn't have to be misery. I can stand in awe of my broken soul in a fleshy outfit. I am skull and bones with spirit. What a crazy, beautiful ride. I honor the journey it has taken, the toll of scars and stretch marks. A body has resilience. Another day to be, another gift of try. I don't need to know tomorrow. I can exist and all will come or go. My soul speaks to my body to breathe without my forcing it to find hope. There is a force that wants us to live, to know our dreams, to fulfill you. Seek the light, my friends. I know the struggle. I pray you strength through the valleys, joy in the presence of love. I'm here to say, keep going, keep trying. Maybe life is good. All right, I have one more just because it's kind of in the holiday spirit. This is another one. I very often write about mental illness and struggle. So this is another one talking about, and it does include self-harm. So it's depression with self-harm. Christmas lights. The co-op parking lot is setting up to sell Christmas trees. Holiday classics played while I got my nails painted red. Thanksgiving will be over soon. Festive lights appearing like stars. It's that time of year. We remember, we celebrate the Savior. It's funny how a simple thing can mean so much, how a feeling is the strongest sense of past. I was a teenager, sedated and foggy. My mom was hopeful. Would you like to drive around the neighborhood to see this year's Christmas lights? I couldn't turn down her enthusiasm. Well, I could and often did, but I agreed out of boredom. My depression was severe that year. Wounds on my arms and hospital bands on my wrists. I don't recall the specifics of the lights, except that my mom was right. It lifted my spirit. Beside the woman who birthed me, we shared a glimpse of winter peace. This woman who loved me every step of the way. This woman who saved me, who would never stop saving me. So I have so on Facebook, I have a page called Fran's Art from the Heart. I paint, I draw, I write music, I sing, I do photography, I make jewelry. So you can check that all out there on my page. I also have a website which sells a CD of mine, a children's book of mine, and a book of poems and other things. And that's under the same name, fransartfromtheheart.com. There's no apostrophe S in Fran's, it's just F-R-A-N-S. And I'm just so grateful to have you all here. This was a wonderful evening of a lot of talent. Please spread the word. I love to have new poets or returning ones. And yeah, just thank you for coming, and I hope you come again.
Frances, thank you so much for organizing this. It was a wonderful evening.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
to meet you all.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.